Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League, showcasing some more fun battles featuring Obstagoon. Obstagoon, always a fun Pokemon, and my goodness, with all these strong ghost types that everyone is running in the Open Great League, there has never been a better time to run Obstagoon in the Open Great League. Of course, you do have to have coverage for the Charmers and the Fighters, as Obstagoon with that normal dark normal typing is double weak to fighting, and it does have a tendency to melt away with Charm, so it will be closing on this team. And also on the safe swap, we've got Lickitung back for some more Great League action. I never get tired of running Lickitung, particularly on a safe swap. It is one of the more reliable safe swaps that you could possibly run in the Great League. And also on this team, we've got Ariados on the lead. As I mentioned before, Obstagoon in the back is going to be weak to those Fighters and those Charmers, and there is no better answer to Fighters and Charmers than Ariados, I believe. Well, maybe there are a few better answers, but Ariados is probably the most fun answer to the Charmers and the Fighters, I should say. Always a very solid lead in the Great League. But without further ado, before we dive into the featured set of the video, we are starting things off with some bonus battles that I thought were tons of fun, and here we go. Awful lead in Mawile, non-Shadow Mawile. So, very unconventional lead, nightmare lead, honestly, for Ariados. So we go into Lickitung and we shield this because they are staying in. Generally, I would not recommend shielding the first move that buffs your opponent's attack or defense. But honestly, this is such an unconventional lead in the Open Great League, and the fact that they are staying in made me think that I should probably preserve some health on Lickitung here. We don't know what they have in the back. We did CMP tie to the Body Slam. It is resisted, but Mawile is quite squishy, and they are not shielding anything. They've got a Politoed in the back. So, pretty neutral matchup for Lickitung, but we are relatively low, and we cannot spend any more shields. Politoed, one of the spammier Pokemon in the Great League. We are taking advantage of the misaligned switch timers, so we go and got back into Ariados to get some damage off on this Politoed. One of the best ways to neutralize a Politoed is to just get off as much raw damage as you can. That is the only way to negate the spammy nature of this thing. And we realized we weren't going to make it to another lunge, so we went for the CMP tie on the Cross Poison. It doesn't quite KO because we have debuffed that attack on the Politoed, and I don't think that this KOs. It does not, but it gets it low as we get the unnecessary boost. You'd love to see it. And they've got a Piloswine in the back. Holy smokes. They definitely get points for the spice. This is one of the spicier Open Great League teams that I've seen in quite some time. I will say, though, that our opponent has already hit Legend, so it looks like they're having some fun with some very spicy Pokemon in the Great League. Shouts to that. But that Avalanche did not KO, and this Piloswine will not make it out of this matchup with the Obstagoon here. Gonna shield up the next Avalanche. That would spell out disaster as we counter down. And that Politoed does, I believe, have a Weather Ball. It always seems to have one Weather Ball stored. I think it, yeah, that thing is just insane. So it's up to Lickitung to close us out. We lick down the Mawile and we lick down the Politoed. Lickitung coming in clutch, bringing it home for us, closing the game strong. That's going to be a good game. Well played. My goodness, once again, shouts to the spice on that last team. That was very fun to see. And here we go, picking up a positive lead in Obstagoon. Ariados has a very strong matchup, as with its dark typing, it does take super effective damage from the bug type Lunge, which also lowers the attack by one stage, and that did a lot of super effective damage to a relatively bulky Pokemon. And Obstagoon, they are going to look to get off a Night Slash, and I presume swap out, or maybe look to catch. A lot of Obstagoons love to catch, and they do try to catch onto a Skarmory. We held on and then decided to debuff the attack a little bit before making a play into our own Obstagoon. This is the proper alignment here. Although Obstagoon does play like a fighter, it does not have that fighting typing, so we are taking neutral damage from this flying type damage here. And gonna just overload by quite a bit and go for Night Slash number 1 on the Skarmory. Skarmory with that steel typing is taking neutral damage from our counters and gonna go for another Night Slash here. A boost would be nice, but we're not necessarily fishing for one. Night Slash is just the move to go for here. And gonna go for Night Slash number 3. I don't know what the Skarmory is doing. Maybe they don't want to get us all that low, so maybe they're planning to farm, and that's what I'm thinking. So we're gonna make an aggressive play back into Ariados, and they did throw another counter. I was wanting a catch, but they didn't throw right away, and they end up throwing the cross chop anyways, which was kind of odd. They might have over-tapped there a little bit, but that is okay. They make an aggressive play into a Nidoqueen, so we're going to debuff that attack as much as possible, and then look to make a play into our Lickitung here. The more of the sting that you can take off of this Shadow Nidoqueen, the better. This thing can really put out some heavy damage in its shadow form. Gonna go for another lunge, and we do fall to a poison jab. So here we go. It is Lickitung time. This Nidoqueen has been thoroughly debuffed. We don't have to shield anything from this Shadow Nidoqueen here. We tank that Poison Fang, no problem. And we're going to go for the full aggressive farm down. They do not make it to another move. Got to just go into Obstagoon and simul KO. As we close it out with Obstagoon yet again. As we simultaneously KO. Good game, well played. Had a blast with those bonus battles. As we move into the featured set of the video, we are picking up a positive lead in Azumarill. This is why Ariados is such a solid lead in the Great League. A lot of people lead with Azumarill, and Ariados has a very fun time. Gonna throw on 5 of their bubbles, because if they are gonna farm up to the Hydro Pump, you can throw one more Poison Sting and get to another Cross Poison. That is all you do against Azumarill. Not worth it to bait with the Lunge, because they don't generally shield. If you go Lunge, yes, you do get that attack drop, but Azumarill is a fairy type, which resists the bug type damage. Not worth it. Just go poison, cross poison, as they make an aggressive play into a Sableye. Gonna look to get off a lunge. Gonna do a decent amount of neutral damage before making a play into our Obstagoon. We arguably could have banked that lunge because you want the Sableye to get Obstagoon as low as possible, as they do still have an Azumarill. It is low health, but yeah, it is still there. And that's always a bit scary when you have a dark type like Obstagoon. And we're just going to go for the full farm down after getting off a Night Slash. Obstagoon is still relatively healthy, fully expecting that Azumarill to come back in. And they are waiting and thinking, and they do come back in with it. We are not going to be able to farm down, so going to go for a Night Slash. It is resisted, but it will do enough to take out the Azumarill. And they've got a Scrafty left in the back, so going to go for the Cross Chop. This is why you run Cross Chop. That is the move to run, guys. I see so many Obstagoons running the nuke moves. Not worth it. Counter does not generate energy fast enough to warrant running those moves. So we come in with our Ariados. They tried to get off some heavy damage, but we're not letting that happen. We do shield that up. We want to debuff that attack a little bit, of course, knowing that we have a Lickitung left in the back. And we do tank this. This is another foul play. But because we got that lunge off, we do live it long enough to get off another lunge. That's the beauty of running a Pokemon that can debuff your opponent. If they only have one left, they cannot swap out into anything to clear those debuffs. So that means that they're stuck with the debuffs until the game is over. And speaking of which, this game here is just about over. The Scrafty can do nothing to our Lickitung. We are far too healthy. We get to this Body Slam, which allows us to say bye-bye to the Scrafty Lickitung. Coming in clutch yet again, closing another game in dominant fashion. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Always a fun time when you can run Ariados and Obstagoon on the same team for reasons like this. We got a Trevenant on the lead. okay lead for us. We do outpace Trevenant, and our lunges do hit for a lot of neutral damage. It's neutral because it is part ghost, which negates the bug damage, making it neutral. And they go right for that Shadow Ball. Holy smokes. Should have saw that coming, but a lot of Trevenants like the bait, so you never really know, and we did get off that lunge before they can Shadow Claw down. It's Obstagoon time. Obstagoon has a very dominant matchup against Trevenant. Although we do run counter, which is double resisted, we are triple resisting their Shadow Claws, and we can hit them for super effective damage with these Night Slashes. They do just go straight Seed Bomb, and they do add up as Trevenant can get to them relatively fast, and we draw a shield. That is amazing. Makes me wonder what they may have in the back. Trevenant usually comes paired with Stunfisk and Azumarill. Those are the most common pairings. But you could see Walrein with Trevenant as well, which could clue us in as to why they may be shielding here. Gonna tank this next Seed Bomb and look to go for the aggressive farm down with double resistant counters. We do get it. And our Obstagoon is still somewhat healthy. They've got a Swampert in the back. So gonna chip with a Night Slash and preserve our Obstagoon as we make a play into our Lickitung here. Lickitung is here to soak all this damage as Swampert is about as spammy as a Pokemon gets, but it is relatively squishy in the Great League. So we're going to take advantage of that, go for a Body Slam, and they are at a potential Sludge Wave or Earthquake. A lot of Swamperts are running Earthquake, and they go for the Earthquake there. And there it is. They've got a Walrein. So they were running the Walrein Trevenant Core, one of the strongest cores you can possibly run in Pokemon Go Battle League. And we draw that final shield. That is amazing. This Walrein is absolutely overloading on energy. I believe they recognize that they need 2 Icicle Spears for our Obstagoon, so they're going to spin one to take out the Lickitung. They do have one stored, but we have nearly 2 Cross Chops stored here. So going to go for Cross Chop number 1. That does a decent amount of super effective damage to the very tanky Walrein. We absolutely have to shield up this Icicle Spear, and we do win CMP tie. So going to go for the Cross Chop here. And this will be allowing us to say bye-bye to the Walrein. And can we counter down the Swampert before it gets to the Hydro Cannon? And we do. Holy smokes. Oh, the Swampert was just there as we countered it down. Obstagoon coming in clutch, closing it strong. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Oh, I had a blast with Obstagoon. I hope they start spawning in the wild again, as I would love to have a PvP optimized Obstagoon. But here we go. Had a Shadow Shiftry lead. They make a play into a Alolan Marowak, and we go into Obstagoon. Arguably could have gone into Lickitung as well. But Obstagoon can really spam out these super effective Night Slashes at a very fast rate. So going to go for the Night Slash here against the Alolan Marowak, and they let it go. They can tank it. We did tank their Bone Club, and I believe we tanked the next one as well, knowing that we can get to another Night Slash here. They will have to shield if they want a flip switch advantage here. If they don't, it will allow us to take it out. But no, they do shield and going to go for the aggressive farm down. That's fine. Little did they know, we had a Lickitung lurking in the back, just waiting to lick it down, guys. And we know that they are not running Fire Blast, so we don't have to shield anything. We don't have to worry about it. We are going to go for the full lick down, but not before they get to another Bone Club. That's okay. We tank that all day. No problem at all. And they do come back in with the Shiftry. Gonna go for a Body Slam. Shiftry is already squishy as it is, let alone in its shadow form. And that does a lot of damage at this 50% of its health. That is insane. Gonna catch the Leaf Blade onto our Ariados, making the plays. You love to see it, guys. That is double resisted with our Bug Poison typing. And they've got a Hypno in the back. So, gonna go for the lunge. This, of course, will hit for super effective on the Hypno, as it is a Psychic type. And oh, that does a lot of damage to a very bulky Pokemon. Holy smokes. Gonna go for the Cross Poison. I wasn't sure if we would make it to another lunge. These confusions are hitting us for a massive super effective damage. And that Cross Poison KOs. Can we make it to another one? We cannot. But I think Lickitung can bring it home with a shield advantage. We are going to shield up all of these charge attacks from the Shiftry. Shiftry hits like a truck. We're going for the lick down. That's the play to make as we lick it down. Holy smokes. Lickitung. Whoa, Lickitung. Closing all these games out strong. That is insane. Good game, well played. I'm telling you guys, Ariados with double normal in the back was just working for us last night in these battles, but not when you have a Registeel on the lead. Going into Lickitung, this is a tricky matchup. Registeel is tricky for the team as a whole. So all you do is you go for the body slam, and you'd be surprised at how close this matchup is, especially if they go for the focus blast, guys. If they do, we tank, and they cannot farm down, guys, and they did not debuff our attack. So these licks are really adding up on the tin can man here in front of us. Gonna go for another resisted body slam, and now you can see how close this is. They can't farm down. They're gonna make an aggressive play into Shadow Wall Rain, and we get to another body slam. This is why Lickitung is one of the best investments you can possibly make in the Great League. There is no debate about that. That Lickitung is amazing. They do take us out, so we come back in with Ariados, knowing that they have a Registeel, and Ariados is kind of dead weight against that Registeel. Just going to put it onto the Wall Rain here. We do win CMP tie, so you can play to the CMP tie every time and get off your move first. And we are going to shield this. We kind of want to get rid of the Wall Rain. It is quite spammy, and in its shadow form, it can be quite lethal, as it does hit quite a bit harder. Going to go for another cross poison and either grab that last shield or say bye-bye to the Wall Rain. They let it go, and we get the boost. That is amazing. Registeel does not want to have any of that nonsense, so it does elect to throw immediately. Those of you who are unaware, Cross Poison is a clone of Night Slash, so you do have that 12.5% chance to get a sharp rise to your attack. And they've got a Trevenant in the back, so this is looking pretty good for us. We still have to play this pretty carefully, and oh, that does a lot of damage, and we get the boost. Holy smokes. Obstagoon popping off in the Great League. You love to see it. We tank the Seed Bomb. We have to preserve a shield, and I think they saw the writing on the wall. It may not have been over, but it was not trending in the right direction. I think we can all agree to that, as they do concede the match. That's going to be a good game. Well played. I was thinking, and the last time I ran Ariados, Registeel had not yet been buffed, so had to come up with a solid team for it, and I think we have. Had an Obstagoon on the lead. They swap into Nidoqueen, so just going to look to get off a resisted lunge to take a little bit of the sting off of that damage output from the Shadow Nidoqueen. And we should have swapped here. I don't know why we stayed in longer. I think one lunge would have been enough before making a play into Lickitung, but I guess we just wanted to bank some energy first. But we had to give up a shield in the process because they did threaten with an Earth Power, but they baited, and they go for another Poison Fang on our Lickitung here. Gonna go for the Body Slam, and this will do a decent amount of neutral damage, as Nidoqueen is quite squishier in its shadow form. And gonna tank whatever this is. We cannot use our last shield. Gonna look to lick down, but no, they make an aggressive play back into Obstagoon. We've been thoroughly debuffed, and I don't believe we will make it to another move. So we're just gonna look to get off this Body Slam and chip away at the Obstagoon before they can counter down. And our Ariados is still relatively healthy. We were one Poison Sting off from the lunge. And as we saw in those previous battles, it does a lot of super effective damage, nearly one-shotting the Obstagoon. That was amazing. Gonna tank everything from the Obstagoon here, as it has been debuffed, and gonna look to go for the full farm down here. Now, I've been seeing a lot of this Obstagoon lead, and if they swap into Nidoqueen, there has often been a Skarmory in the back. So, we're up against it a little bit. Maybe should have gotten off that lunge before making a play in the Obstagoon. But I was thinking at the time that their switch timer was going to come up, and they could have just swapped to clear the debuff anyways. So we chose to bank the energy instead. And this Skarmory is still up 2 shields on our Obstagoon. We are trying our very best here, and the Night Slashes do chip away, but it's a slow process in chipping down the Skarmory, as Skarmory does have some very nice bulk, and they do get to another move. If it's a Sky attack, we definitely live it, and we do, so gonna look. We need 2 Night Slashes. I don't think we're gonna be able to make it. Our opponent played this very nicely. I think we made some minor misplays in the end. We go back into Ariados to get off one final lunge. It's double resisted. Ariados does hit hard, but not quite hard enough to make much of a difference. The Nidoqueen Poison Fangs is down. And Poison Fangs down. The Obstagoon couldn't quite get that one done in the end, but that is okay. Good game, well played, and that is the team, my friends. Had a blast with this team. Ariados with Obstagoon forms a pretty decent core. Not perfect, but good enough. Definitely good enough to have some very good, solid success in the Great League. Ariados, of course, protects Obstagoon from the Fighters and the Charmers, while Obstagoon can cover the Steel types to an extent, especially if you run the right move and cross-chop. And you round out that solid core with a very strong safe swap option in Lickitung. Lickitung is one of the more reliable safe swaps that you can possibly run in the Great League, because even if it is at a type disadvantage, due to its extreme bulk, it can absolutely hang in there and really hold its own, even with a type disadvantage against fighters. So the back two Pokemon protect Ariados from the Ghost types, which resist our damage output, and the Obstagoon protects Ariados from the Steel types. Pretty solid and cohesive team. I was pretty happy with it, and I had a lot of fun with it as well. Guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.